In Africa's shifting plains, survival was merciless. Sahelanthropus, fragile yet determined, clung to life. Their struggle against predators, hunger, and storms began humanity's story, carved in fear, endurance, and the will to endure. They were neither ape nor human, but something between, walking awkwardly on two legs. They adapted to grasslands. Every step on open ground meant courage. Every movement risked death, yet each step carried humanity forward. Rivers carved the land, both life and danger. While Sahelanthropus drank, crocodiles lurked unseen. Each sip risked death, yet thirst demanded courage. And these fragile beings learned to gamble with fear daily. The skies turned violent. Thunder, lightning, and storms tore across the savannah. Sahelanthropus huddled in trees, clutching one another, enduring the wrath of nature. For them, survival meant persistence against an untamable world. Clinging to branches, they watched predators roam below. Saber-tooths, hyenas, and snakes ruled the night. Survival meant silence. One mistake was death, yet their will to endure burned brighter than their fear. Food was scarce. They scavenged nuts, roots, and fallen fruit. Not hunters yet, but survivors, learning flexibility. This adaptability became their most valuable weapon against extinction, separating them from others who failed. Forests shrank, grasslands spread. Sahelanthropus left trees more often, walking upright, though unsteady. Each step was revolutionary. Upright movement gave them vision, courage, and possibility, a fragile path toward the future of humanity. Night was terror itself. Glowing eyes, snarls, and roars surrounded them, yet together, they clung to branches, protecting their young. Community became strength, the fragile bond that kept their kind alive. Every sunrise brought another chance. Descending carefully, they foraged, moved, and adapted. Each day carved survival lessons into their fragile existence. Slowly, unknowingly, they were shaping the path that would become us. Africa's climate turned brutal. Droughts turned forests to dust. Floods drowned plains. Sahelanthropus migrated endlessly, carrying young across dangerous savannas. These journeys forged endurance, teaching adaptation no ape before them had ever mastered. Nightfall brought terror. Shadows stirred with snarls, roars, and predator eyes glowing. Sahelanthropus clung to trees, trembling yet unbroken, against overwhelming darkness. Survival meant unity, and the fragile beginnings of humanity's courage. At dawn, they descended cautiously, searching for food. Every sunrise offered hope, every day a lesson in endurance. Nature was cruel, yet each struggle shaped them closer to becoming more than ape. Forests vanished into grasslands, forced onto 2 feet. They walked upright, awkward but persistent. These unsteady steps marked a turning point, the fragile bridge between ape and human, survival and transformation. Food scarcity forced flexibility. They scavenged roots, termites, and fallen fruit. Not hunters, but opportunists. This adaptability, born of desperation, gave them the edge to endure when others vanished forever. Predators ruled mercilessly. Crocodiles dragged the careless. Saber-tooths killed instantly. Each loss was brutal, yet forced adaptation. The cautious survived. The strong endured. And nature carved lessons into fragile generations. Every rustle meant danger. Sahelanthropus moved, climbed, searched, never safe, never still. Yet persistence was their strength. Survival was not might alone, but an unyielding refusal to surrender. They learned togetherness meant survival. Mothers guarded young, males defended groups, elders guided movements. Unity became their shield. Alone they would perish. But together they carried the spark of humanity forward. Rivers provided life, yet death waited beneath. Each drink risked attack. Still, Sahelanthropus endured, returning again and again, proving persistence was stronger than fear. Water was both ally and enemy. Storms split the skies. Lightning illuminated terrified faces. They trembled but endured. In that fear of fire's flash, they glimpsed a force that would one day define their destiny. Generations passed, and Sahelanthropus walked further, spread wider, adapted harder. They were fragile yet unstoppable, against predators, storms, and famine. Their resilience etched the first lines of humanity's endless story. Hunger drove them deeper into harsh landscapes. Scavenging sharpened instincts. turning weakness into endurance. Their every struggle carved resilience, laying the foundation of humanity's relentless will to survive. Predator and prey shared the land. Sahelanthropus scavenged bones left by beasts, cracking marrow for survival. What others discarded became their lifeline, turning scraps into the building blocks of endurance. They carried their young, protecting fragile life at any cost. Through storms, hunger, and fear, community ensured survival. Their bond was fragile, yet it was the fire that never extinguished. Shadows concealed predators. Every hunt for food risked death. Yet Sahelanthropus endured, learning to read sounds, scents, and movements. Awareness became their armor, guiding fragile lives through endless threats. Storms roared across the plains. Sahelanthropus huddled in caves, their first shelters. Stone and darkness offered fragile protection, teaching them safety beyond trees, a step closer to humanity's future. The jungle grew darker, every rustle a threat. Whispers carried fear, yet they sharpened sticks, preparing. Courage and desperation forged tools, giving fragile beings a weapon against a merciless predator world. Predators closed in, saber-tooths prowled the edges. Waiting, Sahelanthropus stood together, gripping crude sticks, trembling yet unbroken. For the first time, fragile apes dared to fight back against death. They struck with desperation. Sticks clashed against predators' strength. Some fell, others endured. For the first time, courage challenged fear. That moment lit the path toward human defiance. The fires of lightning scorched trees. Terrified, Sahelanthropus watched from caves. Flames destroyed, yet also illuminated. Fear mixed with awe, a glimpse of power that would soon shape destiny. They crept closer to embers, shivering in fear. Fire burned, but warmth lingered. Cautiously they learned its dual nature, destroyer and protector. Humanity's greatest discovery began with trembling Han. Fire became their shield. Predators hesitated at its glow. Sahelanthropus huddled near flames, fear turning into comfort. For the first time, darkness held safety, and humanity gained mastery over night. With fire, hunger eased. Roasting roots, nuts, and meat softened food, easing digestion. Nutrition grew, strength followed. Fire didn't just protect, it fueled evolution, shaping bodies and minds. Flames offered warmth. Through cold nights, Sahelanthropus survived. No longer fragile prey, they became resilient. Fire turned weakness into strength, giving them dominion over elements once feared. Firelight changed nights. Faces glowed in warmth. Shadows danced on cave walls. Fear retreated. Stories began. Community deepened. Voices shared memory. With fire, humanity found its first language of light. Predators circled, eyes glowing, but fire kept them away. For the first time, Sahelanthropus controlled fear itself. The hunted became defenders, and the balance of power began to shift. Around fire, courage grew. Together, they discovered safety in unity. No longer scattered, they gathered. Fire gave more than warmth, it gave belonging. The first sparks of society. Flames inspired imagination. Shadows became stories. Embers sparked ideas. In firelight, the seeds of thought were planted, the earliest whispers of culture, identity, and the path toward humanity. Generations passed. Fire was carried, nurtured, protected. It became life itself, the tool of survival and symbol of endurance. Humanity's rise was written in its eternal glow. With fire, they conquered darkness. Night became theirs. What once was terror became opportunity. Humanity's fragile ancestors had stepped into power, reshaping destiny forever. Flames marked transformation. No longer fragile prey, Sahelanthropus had become survivors. Fire burned in their eyes, not just heat, but the beginning of humanity's unstoppable journey. Fire carried across generations, passed like memory. With every spark, humanity grew stronger. The fragile became resilient, and survival became destiny. Darkness no longer ruled. Fire gave vision, courage, and protection. Humanity's ancestors had seized control of nature's most powerful force. Every ember carried legacy. Sahelanthropus, fragile yet unbroken, had kindled humanity's path. Fire's light would burn forever in their descendants. From fear came strength. From weakness came endurance. Fire was not just survival, it was transformation. Humanity's first true victory over the wild had begun. This was humanity's beginning. Fragile apes turned survivors. Survivors turned dreamers. In fire's glow, the first spark of destiny burned, the light that would carry us to eternity.